Yep, and there's the Farrah Mercy and the McCree that I just mentioned. So
All
hopefully they stick
right.
with those and make me look smart. But on defense, we also
They're
have,
gonna switch to 4 Torbs in
yeah,
the last minute.
probably, yeah, 3 Mays, 3 Bastions. It's the new meta, man. You can't get away from it.
Oh
Not really.
dear. I just like. Does everybody ring the bells as Junkrat before the map starts? Because
Well,
I do.
Junkrat specifically, I think I ring the bells with
Junkrat
every character.
specifically because it's a little bit more of a skill shot if you're running around in the courtyard and you're having to judge where to fire your shots to hit the bells. I sort of do that as warm up before I start playing on this map. I think it's harder with Junkrat than anyone else.
Could be. You might be right.
But no, it'll be interesting to see what Reunited do here because a lot of the times teams fail to make it to the first checkpoint. They kind of the payload stops under the archway, and then you use that kind of overlooking point where you can see Reinhardt sort of positioned now on Winghaven. And that tends to be where they stop the attacking teams. So let's see if Reunited can stop Gringos here. It looks like Gringos are sticking with the more conventional composition, Josh. You see you officially look supremely smart here.
Yay!
But let's see if they get round the corner.
All right, well, I'm going to watch Farah, first-person view, as we get started here, just jumping up behind the enemy. Look at that, knocking them all down. Really good start there for Farah, being played by Denzje. That's what I'm going to call him, since I don't know how to pronounce most of these names properly. But Denzje on Farah,
This is cool.
really good start there. First knocking them all down and then getting the kill on Junkrat before falling.
Very, very nicely done. And also, Liddano was very adventurous, I have to say, trying to distract everyone on Widowmaker as well, right in plain sight. Basically on top of the roof saying, hey, Reunited, shoot me instead of someone else. Ooh, but he gets so outsniped by Morte, it's not even funny, and he didn't even have the recon visor up. That was just brutal from the Reunited player. Split seconds reactions. Winghaven, TwoEasy, Vallutaja with support from, is that Kruise? It is Kruise, still holding fast on top of the roof there. So exactly where we mentioned they might get held up. Gringos are now searching for answers.
Yeah, it's very common again for this sort of cushion to happen, so that defense doesn't have to run back quite so far. They also have the benefit of just falling back. If they feel like Reinhardt's shield is gone and they're going to start falling, they can just literally walk backwards down the stairs there and be on the other side of this underpass, where Mint has actually pushed through pretty successfully here. Good flash and fan onto Reinhardt actually allows them to continue moving. It is actually contested right now from Kruise on that soldier long enough for them to actually take out Denzje and Prawley on the cart. Good stuff there from Reunited, and all it took was just standing nearby on that ledge and shooting down at them.
Well, that's the nature of sort of this point on this map, so who can blame them for taking advantage of it? That payload had so many bodies around it just now. It basically looked like a mortuary on wheels, but everyone has respawned now. We can see Shadez patiently waiting on Mercy for an opportunity, or for anyone to heal, really.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, she's getting spotted by, again, the Reunited guys up top, and Prola's not going to be able to stand there for too long, even with the Reinhardt shields. That's a lot of damage he's having to take, and there we go, grabbing the payload, pointing his shields backwards, and that allows them to get the payload through the archway. Very well done positionally there from Gringos, and that's a crucial defensive point that Reunited didn't want to let go of.
Yeah, Liddano actually gets a lot of props there for the 2 picks on the way in on a Widowmaker. There's a nice tire kill on to the Reinhardt, and defense will actually reclaim this payload again. So Liddano, yeah, actually had 2 snipes moving in to allow them to push through the underpass. The rest of the team did the work there to push the cart, but now the cart's going to start sliding back. It's going to take about 20-30 seconds for the team to reset, and they need to figure out how to actually keep this momentum going to the first checkpoint.
And Reunited, they look like they were toying with the idea of going back up to the rooftop. Vallutaja is there at the moment, but Gringos are able to get through in time. Here we go, the sound barrier offensively being used now from Mint, moving forward with Shadez and Denzje in particular. Doesn't look like Joe actually got the benefit of the sound barrier, and he's going to go down alongside Liddano. Prola, though, on the payload the entire time, and that's going to enable them to push to this checkpoint. So Reunited are definitely going to have to fall back at this point. And good job there from Gringos, I have to say, pushing through the marketplace before Reunited had a chance to push the payload back.
Yeah, a couple of interesting things there. Essentially, Reunited was pushed up super far with their Soldier and their Widow trying to get picks at the spawn, but there were 4 players alive on the payload. All they needed really was that Sound Barrier and Earth Shatter to be able to get through. Winghaven was killed by a Reinhardt combo, so I see Hanzo on defense now. TwoEasy just taking free shots over there at the payload, but he's going to get surrounded, and the McCree and Soldier combo actually will get the job done there. Nothing is pushing the payload right now.
That was a huge mistake, actually, from Gringos there. Prola rushed forward to try and kill Winghaven. Reinhardt on Reinhardt, whiffs the charge, gets surrounded and killed, immediately gets resurrected by Mercy, but I think that might have been just a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction, because as soon as that happens, he just gets killed again and Mercy goes down, and we actually now have a situation where Mercy isn't even a part of the team comp, I believe, for Gringos, and
no support at all on Reunited.
Who was actually on that?
It was
was that Denzje?
Who was it on Mercy?
Yeah.
Was it Joe? No, Denzje
No,
was
I think it might have been Shadez, who's now switched on to
Yes,
Hanzo.
okay, I think
Sorry,
that's correct.
Yeah. But yeah, that was just basically 2 Reinhardt completely wasted, Mercy res completely wasted, and then Reinhardt goes down again, and it takes them ages to regroup, so that was a little bit painful for them. They're going to have to try and, well, as long as they complete the map, it's fine, right? But Reinhardt keeps getting isolated. It's the same as map 1 at the moment.
Yeah, Widow, Morte doing a good job actually just keeping the support separated from Prawley. Prawley on his own once again, because these other 3 players were all pinned in their spawn by 1 Soldier and 1 Widow. So Shadez, Johanneberg, and the rest of the team now finally pushing forward together. They have scored a couple of kills on the defense. Defense, again, has no support, just the 2 Soldiers dropping their biotic fields every once in a while, keeping everyone tip-top health. But Winghaven, yeah, they should be able to surround and kill Winghaven pretty easily with no heals available. There is a Hanzo ultimate coming out from the defense. TwoEasy, they're trying to score some shots, but the Sound Barrier should allow this team to push forward on potentially all the way out to the next checkpoint as Winghaven goes down, but now Denzje and Liddano have both been killed as well, and suddenly Prawley is there nearly alone there with Shadez. Unfixed is going to be able to flash over the shield and take out Reinhardt. Suddenly Gringos are stopped once again.
You know, I have to say, considering they're playing basically maximum firepower, no support, Reunited are doing a surprisingly good job with this comp. If they can kill Gringos fast enough, they technically might not need the supports because they just respawn fast enough to make up for their superior kill-death ratio. But I'm not sure that's a really good thing to be relying on in the long term. They are making it work so far, though, to their credit.
As long as they can get picks on players trickling back in and they never get that full 6 push going, which they haven't really been able to do this entire game. They've basically just got enough coverage with TwoEasy and Vallutaja up on the high ground there, as well as Winghaven and Unfixed on the low ground. No one's really going to be able to sneak past them, and then it's just a matter of who's more precise. Shadez on Genji takes out the Hanzo there, so that could be a nice opening. Liddano with only 1 sliver of health, probably with only a sliver of health, also going down. Johanneberg also going down means that Gringos are getting reset once again. It is going to take 20 or 30 seconds. There's no Mercy res available. There's no anything to really keep them moving. They are on the payload now, but they are outnumbered, so I'm curious if they're going to be able to push forward here, or if Reunited is just going to walk forward and stop this. Really, any one of them could do it. Finally, Denzje does fall, and they don't even have to contest the payload. They just
Unfixed
get more
is doing
kills.
A great job of flanking these guys, actually, and he's managed to pick off Prola twice now in as many minutes, just catching the opposing Reinhardt completely off guard. Prola is basically having to sit there with the shield waiting for his team to get to him, but I feel like as soon as the team get there, he goes, right, off we go now, and unfortunately that means he ends up offside more often than not. They're now making a run for the payload. There's 15 seconds remaining, and we have a collapse from both teams. It looks like Mint is coming in early on. He doesn't have his ultimate ready yet, though, and gets killed with 80%. Liddano has an ult ready, but unfortunately, that's not going to do very much good. The recon visor, useless unless you have players there to stop it, and there is nobody on the payload. We have Reunited successfully stopping Gringos from capping that point.
Yeah, I was watching Unfixed there at the end after you gave him some props. I was watching him with his Deadeye ult available. He basically was just watching the payload from behind in case anyone tried to approach it. He was going to get that free kill on them, and didn't even need it. Basically, the soldiers did a good enough job keeping everybody dead that the defense didn't even have to use a support player for much of that game.
It's all about keeping everyone dead. And
Yep.
does manage to get that last gasp kill off on Liddano to complete the play of the game there. So very well done on Soldier. And that was an offensive masterclass almost from Reunited, playing supportless for a large chunk of that map there. But when they did, they didn't hold back either. They were really pushing it into Gringos' faces and saying, look, if you can't deal with this much damage very, very quickly, we will just steamroll you. And when you kill one of us, that's fine, because we're going to have enough time to get back in position before you guys can reset and we'll kill you while trickling in. So very, very well played there from Reunited. And now we see if they can push the payload all the way.
Yeah, so far it looks like they've been really dominant, and Numbani attack was their fastest yet. Route 66 was actually a little bit closer in the end, where Reunited did have a better defense on Route 66, but then the offense was not as impressive, whereas on Numbani, their defense was a little weaker, and their offense was super strong. So this time around on Dorado, their defense, they were trying something a little unusual with no support, and now on offense, I do expect them to want to basically try to roll through as easily as possible. You never really want to leave anything up for grabs when you could just win the map and take a 3-0 lead. They do have a Bastion selected right now, which could still possibly come out. A couple of characters that go well with Bastion are Mercy and Zarya for Protect the Bastion comp. Reinhardt is also very good, as he can just prop up that shield in front of him, so we'll see what they end up using.
I like the chat on StreamMe right now. They're calling the is it Cow? We just called Widowmaker plus Hanzo, the sniper composition we saw. A polite stream-friendly way to describe what he just described that composition as would be the Charlie Foxtrot composition, which I'm starting to quite like, actually. But you know what? If you can make it work, then more power to you. They're two characters and two heroes that are fantastic to watch, and when you see those two guys get a string of kills, it's actually great to watch. But for now, we are going to be popping in. We have got TwoEasy on Hanzo. We do not have a Widowmaker, though, on the side of Reunited this time around.
Oh, and Unfixed swapped off of Bastion to Reaper at the last moment. Actually, even after the game started, so a little sad there. I would have actually liked to see them try it, at least in this position of power, but they are moving forward now. You can see they've got that Hanzo Sonic Arrow providing red outlines for everybody, and Reaper's just going to town, already taking out Prolly and Denzje. Winghaven does charge in and gets taken out, but that's enough to dislodge the payload and get them moving. Well, actually, no one's touching the payload, but they could move it if they wanted to.
Anyone can dislodge the payload if they bothered. And it does look like we're going to have Lucio coming in. Kruise is going to try and get it moving, but frustratingly for him, Shadez is going to have something to say about that. But with no backup, he gets out of there quickly before the rest of Reunited can collapse in, and as a result, they will be able to pop back in. So let's see if they can get under the archway safely. Gringos are not actually contesting that big open balcony, choosing instead to move up the window. I'm not too sure about this, because I feel like Lucio underneath can sneak it through into the marketplace in the meantime.
Yeah, it's just McCree actually on his own waiting for this inevitable collision, and there it is. Vallutaja does fall, but Winghaven and company show up just in time to keep that cart moving. He got the pin on the enemy Reinhardt, and they are going to easily make this first checkpoint in the first couple of minutes. Big Earth Shatter there actually catches a couple of players. There's also a teleporter just out in the open for whichever Reunited player wants to go take it out. There, TwoEasy does find it, and they're going to continue on. Checkpoint has been met.
And let's see where they've decided to fall back to. This has really been the problem with the composition that we've had in the past, where Reunited can kind of sort of sit back and try and kill people as they trickle in. And if you take a look, they're actually grouping up so far away from the checkpoint right now. Vallutaja was doing his best to stop these guys from ever getting to a position to contest in the first place, and they nice ultimate there, forcing Gringos to completely scatter. Their problem, though, they're nowhere near the payload. They're scoring individual kills, Joshy, but they're not stopping this thing from moving.
Yeah, they got Vallutaja, who was pushed way up. Now finally they knock down the Hanzo player TwoEasy, and suddenly it is back to a trickle for Reunited. So they have gotten a full stop here just on the other side of the church. and Reunited for the first time is going to have to regroup and figure out how they want to approach this. If you'll notice, right now the defense Gringos are not doing what Reunited did and trying to shell down at the spawn. Instead, they're kind of all sticking closer together near the payload itself, while Morte on the Widowmaker, for example, is able to just attack in on their static positions.
I have one small, almost complaint I want to make against Gringos here, Josh. You saw they were basically 5v1 just now against Winghaven, and they refused to get to the other side of him. They were giving him so much respect, and it was everyone against a Reinhardt. I mean, come on, guys. You saw what they did to Prolly earlier on. You need to be able to get in from behind. As soon as you hit him from 2 directions with no support, you kill him off. They can't be giving him that much room.
This is interesting. Unfixed swapping off of Reaper onto D.Va now because Gringos has chosen this high ground sort of defense point. D.Va can actually knock a couple of those members off, which he did actually find a soldier to knock off right before that sound barrier. Now the offense is pushing the payload through this next underpass. They got a couple of kills there. Morte, TwoEasy, Vallutaja all dying. So defense doing a good job actually standing up once again and keeping Reunited from moving forwards.
This is, yeah, just very, very nice stuff. And like you mentioned, the D.Va there critically, not just moving off of Reaper because it's fun, but because D.Va was able to knock those characters off. And you saw, when the soldier got knocked off, got picked off by the rest of the team pretty quickly as soon as you're off the high perch. So just very, very well done there, like you mentioned. And we'll see what they come up with next.
Nice snipe from Liddano, actually taking out TwoEasy instantly. TwoEasy unable to even get any damage in before falling. There's a high noon in the far back line. I don't think he actually found any kills with that, but did just zone them out of line of sight for a second. Now Gringos is disjointed once again. They really haven't been doing well in that position, so McCree running away as quickly as he can, still does fall though, and now Gringos suddenly down to only a couple of people standing at all. Definitely no one on the payload though, as they still don't have their tank character in place. Probably is still running back from spawn, and it looks like they are going to be able to achieve this checkpoint. Mint doing his best to try and contest though. Could it last long enough? Yes, he does actually, for Prolly and Denzje to get back into play. Good stuff there from Mint, saving the checkpoint there.
Oh, and Shadez, unfortunately, using the Dragon Blade and basically whiffing because he wasn't able to get any kills before he gets picked off himself. Fantastic charge from Winghaven as well. Takes out Joe, and as a result, Vallutaja now moving in to try and secure the payload. He gets killed off, so unable to kill anyone with that Deadeye. The payload still inches from completion here, and we're waiting for the last member. Is that Mint? It is Mint.
Mint is still standing, yeah. I've been watching him this whole time, basically run circles around the payload. He still has not died until just now, but it did give his teammates enough time to get in there at least to continue contesting. Unfixed is going to launch his ult up into the air here. It lands, should not really kill anybody. Yeah, probably had his shield up with plenty of time. D.Va does get her suit back though, which is a nice benefit for her. And Vallutaja has returned to the fight just as Winghaven goes down though, so Reunited still not really grouping up, still just kind of coming in one at a time, trying to score those kills. TwoEasy does get the better of the sniper battle there, takes out Liddano. Denzje has actually fallen now as well. Gringos down, so only a few members. Unfixed all the way on the payload now, takes out Hanzo. There's still deaths happening left and right all over the place here. TwoEasy has even moved in on a Widow to try and push this payload.
Prolly going so far offside with the charge there. Yes, he managed to get a kill on Vallutaja, but the rest of his team were left tankless out in the open. I'm not sure how I feel about this because with Morte and Winghaven alone, there's just so much beefy presence here for Reunited that they are able to get the payload to the checkpoint. Prolly needs to stay a little bit closer and basically not leave his DPS teammates high and dry, because I feel like that probably gave Reunited a good 30 more seconds there, I feel like, and made their job a little easier.
Yeah, Reunited, they were looking kind of like they weren't coordinating very well, just kind of moving in with 2 or 3 at a time, but the fact that they found the kills is really all that was necessary. They outlived their opponents, but now with the payload pushing through this final point, this is all that separates them from a map score of 3-0. There is the Deadeye coming along now. I'm surprised that Gringos hasn't pushed forward a little bit further than this, because now as they're falling, the payload's actually so close that if they're unable to contest with anybody, it's going to slide right into that final position. Liddano and Johanneberg, actually Johanneberg getting 3 kills there in the kill feed, must have made use of his tactical visor while Liddano is sniping from the front. Good stuff there, holding on defense.
Yeah, very, very nice ultimate coming out there from Joe. Killing off 3, like you mentioned, Reunited players. Just good use of covering fire while the rest of the team were basically taking the shots. Reunited are back. Winghaven charging forward. And TwoEasy is now on Zarya, shielding everyone and trying to really add a lot more beef into this composition to make this presence worth it. They don't want to have to respawn and come back again. Denzje basically gets whiffed by a charge once more from, is that from Prowler? It's not from Prowler because he's still alive, so it must have been Winghaven coming backwards there and dying.
Yeah, Winghaven kind of dropped down and then charged back the other direction from the payload, did not catch anybody, and fell very quickly after that. But right now they are reforming. They do have 3 tanks in their composition still. Let's see, did they swap off? No, they do still have Zarya and Reinhardt, but they did have a D.Va as well. Unfixed has swapped back to Genji from D.Va. There's a couple of ults going out right now. It looks like players on both sides are falling, but defense actually losing the bulk of the players. There's a Deadeye from Vallutaja. He's going to fall as well. The offensive res actually means that Reunited is looking in a very good position here as they push the defenders into their spawn. That res was basically all it took, bringing 3 players back up instantly after that bloodshed, and there we go. Reunited is going to seal a 3-0 score in this best of 7.
That was a beautiful 20-second passage of play, Josh. Did you see the way they collapsed into the spawn room as well? It was actually 5 players as 1, from 0 tanks to triple tank call. Very, very nicely played from Reunited, but Joe will take the play of the game here with that tactical visor we were talking about earlier.
Yep, there's the triple that we saw there. Tac visor definitely helping out quite a lot there. Got a piece of almost everybody.
Pentakill.
Yeah.
Dem skill shots, yo.